What's up, heathens? How ya doing? I'm the Godless engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Today, we're going to be hearing from an atheist named Taco, and Taco here is going to be telling us why atheism is completely wrong and why it's foolish to be an atheist. He's also going to attempt to redefine what atheism means and take a more philosopher sort of tactic with dealing with the question of whether or not God exists. All right, heathens. Well, this video is coming to you from a channel called The Christian Deck, but it seems to be a theist named Taco that's doing all the talking. I don't know if Taco is the one running the channel or the channel just sort of stole content from somebody out there and his name is Taco, but we're going to listen to what Taco has to say about not believing in a God.
Atheism has to be one of the most, if not the most foolish religions in the world.
I know, already having to stop him. Atheism's not a religion. Atheism does not meet the definition of a religion. So I think that you need to sort of rewire your brain on atheism in general. Atheism is just not believing in a God. In its very most basic form, atheism is just not believing in a God. I get it that you probably want to redefine atheism in some kind of way. My question to you, Taco Man, would be, what do you call somebody that just simply doesn't believe in a God? I don't think that agnostic really covers that. That's why I use a full label of agnostic atheist, because agnosticism that speaks to what I don't know or do know, just speaks to knowledge. You know, I don't know whether or not a God exists. And then atheism speaks to what I believe. I do not believe in a God. I do not believe a God to exist. I feel like the atheist position is open to being changed. So like you are open to new information and your mind can be changed at that point. Whereas the agnostic and gnostic sort of labels sort of define what you feel like you know as to be the truth of reality. You may sometimes believe things that you don't necessarily have the knowledge to support. You may have the intuition to believe in those things, or you just, you know, believe or disbelieve for whatever reason. So I feel like it's important to keep those two aspects of information but knowledge and belief, keep them separate and use a full label. But I get it. He thinks that atheism is a religion, but it's not. It's just simply not believing in a God.
Already there's atheists who are wanting to write, it's not a religion, it's a belief in no religion. No.
It's a belief in no religion. I've never heard of it described that way, because I definitely believe religions exist. I don't believe in a God, and I don't think that you have to be religious necessarily in order to believe that some supernatural deity exists. So, like, I don't know. I feel like this entire video is going to be just completely wrong, because Taco here doesn't seem to understand how fucking words work. Maybe pick up a dictionary and figure some shit out first before you start making a fucking video there, Taco.
Oh, that is not true. Atheism, by definition, is a belief that there is no God.
It can mean that. Like a gnostic atheist would make that particular distinction. He would say, or they would say, she would say, that God definitely does not exist. Being a hard atheist or a gnostic atheist isn't a bad thing, but I would say that that's a mixture of both knowledge and belief. At the core, I share the same attribute as hard atheists, because we're both atheists. Neither of us believe a God exists. It's just a matter of our level of knowledge of that particular belief. I don't know whether or not a God exists, while a hard atheist feels like they know that God definitely doesn't. I understand that he's going to take a more philosopher sort of tactic for dealing with atheism, but that risks running a straw man argument, because what you're doing is you're generalizing all atheists to fit into one particular hole, and that's just not going to work, because atheists have varying different ideas about their non-belief, about whether or not they know or don't know whether or not a God exists. So I feel like overgeneralizing a group is not a good idea. I tend to try not to do that with atheists, especially Christians. I try to operate within a person's understanding of their own God belief. I don't try to put all believers into one sort of hole, as it were, whereas this asshole right here definitely wants to put all atheists into one particular hole and then, you know, basically create a straw man that he feels like is easy to knock down.
It is not the absence of belief in a God. It is the active belief that there is no God.
No, atheism at its core is not an active belief that there is no God. It's just an active non-belief in a God. Like, you actively do not believe in a God. Yeah, so it's literally a description of their current psychological state as far as believing in supernatural wizards.
Which is absolutely foolish. In Psalm 14 in the Bible, it says that the fool says in his heart, there is no God. In Proverbs 9:10, it says, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Those two things line up well.
Yeah, because they're from the same fucking book, the Bible. Of course they're gonna line up well, you dipshit. Also, just coming at me with a bunch of Bible verses in order to prove that I'm being foolish in not believing in God, that's not gonna work, because I don't believe that your book, your holy book, is representative of reality. And I have multiple different arguments against the Bible being representative of reality. I feel like it's just enough for me to say that your Bible does not represent reality in multiple ways, and therefore I do not believe that any verse from the Bible is going to be indicative of whether or not I'm foolish. I feel like maybe you should come at me with better arguments, like arguments based in some kind of philosophical argument, instead of just like reading words out of a fucking old book.
Because the one who is an atheist, he doesn't fear God. He hates God.
No, I don't fear God, but I also don't hate God. Or at least I hate God as much as I hate Voldemort or Darth Sidious. I don't hate them. Like, I don't like the characters, obviously, but it's because they're shitheads. But I mean, like, I don't hate them like I hate fucking Donald Trump. I hate Donald Trump because Donald Trump's a real person, and I can hate these characters, but that doesn't mean that they are real. But I don't hate God because I don't think God is doing anything to me. I don't think God exists in a way that it's affecting me, like, directly, like God is directly affecting me. Fucking Donald Trump's directly affecting me, and I hate him. I don't hate God in the same way. I hate what believers do in the name of their God. I hate how some people believe they're better than people that don't believe in God. I hate people for the actions that they do. God, being a not real thing, can't do anything to me. So my hate in this particular realm is reserved for those assholes like this motherfucker right here that wants to use their God in order to denigrate other people, or to ride in on a high horse and try to act like they're better than everybody else. I fucking hate that.
Desperately hates God and doesn't want him to exist.
I literally could not care if God existed or not. If your God exists, that's not going to affect me one way or another. I mean, I'm not going to worship that God. I would acknowledge that he existed, but it's not like I don't want any, like, I don't want him to exist or not exist. I don't give a fuck.